morning, 8th grade. Welcome to day 4 of week 6. Today is April 30th. Today we are going to be participating in an activity. We're going to take our understanding of solving word problems with substitution when both equations are in standard form and apply them to some riddles today to figure them out. Okay, so this is also a reminder that you have an evidence of mastery tomorrow. I did give you an idea of what to expect on this post here. Have you started studying yet? I did bring this to the top this morning so that you saw it again, but these 4 topics are what you will see on the evidence tomorrow. So I would suggest just going over that. Make sure you're comfortable doing A through D that I have listed here. And you will be successful for your evidence. Okay, so I'm going to go to our classwork. I'm going to click on day 4. You'll see you have a lesson here, and then you have your You Do activity. So the lesson is really just to give you an idea of what you are expected to do in the activity. It's nothing new that to learn, but I just modeled a very similar example to what you'll see in the activity today. So this would be your lesson to look at. I'm just going to use this version because I feel like it's bigger for you to see. So the warm-up goes over how much each of the coins are worth. So I hope that all of us know these answers, but you will need them for the activity today. So we know that a $50 is 50 cents, quarter 25, nickel 5 cents, penny 1 cent, and a dime is 10 cents. Okay, so we're going to use our understanding of writing standard form equations from word problems and our knowledge of a coin's worth, and we're going to solve some riddles today. So normally, if we were in school, I would have these cups that were covered up like this, and there would be different amounts of coins inside of each cup, and then I would give you a riddle about the coins that are in the cup. And then it's your job to figure out how many of each coin are in the cup without actually looking at them. So we're going to do that, but just in a modified version. Okay, so here's the first riddle. In this cup are 17 quarters and $50. Finding this solution will produce some hollahs. The question is how many of each coin is inside that the creative instructor has so graciously supplied. $5.50 doesn't buy much these days, but in this cup is where the total lays. Don't look inside, that is called cheating. It's with your intelligence that you are competing. So here's your cup, and we're gonna figure this riddle out. So the first thing I suggest is highlight the important information. So in the first sentence, they tell us that there are 17 quarters and $50. So right there we know that we have 2 different types of coins in the cup, and we know that there are 17 total of those coins. And then the other thing that I highlighted was the worth, how much is in the cup. In the cup there is $5.50 worth of this combination of coins. So our job is to figure out how many of each of these are in the cup. Okay? So we're going to use the same steps that we used yesterday. The graphic organizer on your activity is very similar to the one you saw yesterday, which those of you that did complete the activity, you did very well with. I feel like it really helped keep your work and understanding organized. So you'll see the same organizer on today's activity. So it should be familiar for you, okay? So the variables are what I'm going to identify first. So I'm going to make X my quarters and Y my $50. Okay, so our variables have been identified. Then you're going to write your system. So to write your system, we want to remember that one of the equations, let me see if I can make this bigger for you. Whoa, okay. Okay, so one of the equations will always be about the amount of the coins, right? So this equation is going to be X plus Y equals 17, because remember they told us there was 17 coins in the cup. And we don't know how many quarters, we don't know how many $50, but we know that those are the 2 coins in the cup, and we have a total of 17. The second equation is about the cost. So since I made X quarters, and I know that quarters are 25 cents each, I put 0.25 in front of the X for quarters, plus 0.50 because why are my half dollars? And a half dollar is worth 50 cents. So 50 cents times the amount of half dollars that are in there gives me a total of $5.50. So very similar to what we saw yesterday. One equation will be about the amount, the other equation will be about the cost. And that second equation will always relate to the worth of the coins that you are talking about in the cup. Okay? So once you have that set up, then you're going to solve. I don't feel like I need to spend too much time on this because you guys were doing very well with this. You pick the easier of the two equations, you solve for one of the variables, I solve for x. You then take this equation and you're going to substitute it into the other equation that you have not touched. You'll see that here, okay? So we substitute it in, we distribute. Once we distribute, you combine your like terms, and then you would inverse and inverse to find out that y is 5, okay? Once you have that value of y, then you go back to the original system, pick which one you feel is the easiest. So I pick the top one, I plug in 5 for y right here in red, I inverse to get x isolated, and now I know that x equals 12. So you guys, like I said, on today's activity and yesterday's, you did very well with the solving part of it, and all of you remembered to write the solution in the form x comma y. Some of you struggled or left this part out where you relate it back to the problem. Anytime you do a word problem, you have to take the solution and relate it back in a sentence, because a solution is only valuable when you're talking about it on a graph or in mathematical terms. This is now related to the real world, so you have to tell the person what is the 12 representing, what is the 5 representing, and that is at step 11. That I mentioned on a few of your work. So we would now say there are 12 quarters and 5 half dollars in this cup, because X was representing the quarters and Y was representing the half dollars. Okay, so your activity today is going to look like this. I'm going to start you off on the first problem, and you are responsible to complete that one as well as the other two. Okay, so this is what your cover page looks like. The task is right here. Same thing I just mentioned. Be sure you show all of your work to receive full credit. If there's insufficient amount of work, you will only receive partial credit for the amount that's there. If you only have solutions, then that is no credit. Okay, use the lesson from yesterday and today as a guide, and I think you guys will do great. So here is your first question. It talks about quarters and nickels are the total of 16. How many of each without being seen? The value of 220 is right in this cup. You will find the answer. A CERN cheer up. It's a challenge, I know, but don't give up hope. The answer is obtainable and within your scope. So you'll see the organizer very similar to yesterday, where you'll identify your variables. I highlighted them in the problem. X, I am making quarters, and Y, I am making nickels. So when I write my system, I want to look for the important information. The important information is that there are 16 coins in this cup, and that their worth is $2.20. So I need to remember what a quarter is worth. A quarter is worth 25 cents, and a nickel is worth 0.055 cents. So I would write my system based on that. I would have my first equation about the amount of the coins. So some quarters, some nickels, for a total of 16 coins. And then I would have my equation about the cost. So since X are quarters, I put 0.25X. And since Y are nickels, I put 0.05Y. Be careful with the ones that are 0.0 something, because I find often students forget that that 0 is there, and then they leave it off, and then you wind up representing a different coin. So be very careful about those, okay? And then the rest you guys should, the rest you guys should be able to do on your own. So you're gonna go from here, you'll finish completing question 1, and then you'll complete the other 2 problems. Okay, again, you must show all of your work to receive full credit. Some of you were typing right in the document, which is great. Others of you were sending me a picture of your work. I accept anything. Just make sure that there is sufficient work there, or else you are not receiving full credit. Every question is worth 10 points, so this assignment is worth a total of 30 points. Okay, I hope this helped 8th grade. Stay safe.